in the very, very closing stages.
Yeah, I can only think that was the reason.
Yeah. So we've seen the athletes on the start list there for the men's 5,000 metre walk list, including Tom Bosworth, who's already been busy this weekend because he was down in the mix zone yesterday doing the interviews for the British Athletics web street for the social media.
I believe so, and what a charismatic person that Tom Bosworth is. He really has embraced the whole of the sport, not only what he's doing for the promotion and the development of race walking in the UK, but he's such a character in the team. He's everyone's best friend, and such a great supporter, as well as a developing athlete and a world-class athlete himself.
So we're seeing the athletes being introduced here. Now, rather awkwardly, they've missed out Christopher Snook on the outside there, who's not on our starter list, but is there, which is why he's been missed out. As we see from left to right, that was Cameron Corbishley just being introduced. Callum Wilkinson alongside him. Timothy Snook, so he looks at his brother as if to say, they introduced me, but not you. We had some good feedback from the athlete's father, by the way, Peter, who watched yesterday's live stream. He's here supporting today. There's a huge reception for Tom Bosworth, who, for these other young athletes alongside him, is the figurehead, of course, the one setting the standard for British race walking. Guy Thomas of Tunbridge, and we certainly won't miss Luke Ligon of Bexley in the bright orange on the inside.
And I think they all got the memo, 5 of them anyway, didn't they, to wear yellow trainers?
They did, absolutely, yeah. So poor old Christopher Snook on the outside. I feel sorry for him. You could see when Callum Wilkinson inside him was introduced that he was already looking around as if to say, I am here, you know. Drawn out on the outside in 7. I can only presume that too many Snooks spoiled the broth for the.
Here we go.
Oh, sorry about that
I nearly said he snuck in there, but never mind.
Oh, sorry.
I refrained from it.
And it's Bosworth straight to the front, as you'd expect, for ahead of Callum Wilkinson in the early stages, and Cameron Corbishley from the Medway and Maidstone Club in Kent, followed by the first of the Snooks, and they have 25 laps to negotiate as well. So again, we'll follow it bottom left on the inset. And we go back to the pole vault, and it's your man, Harry Koppel.
It is. We see Harry now on the runway. This is his first attempt at 5:45. Ooh, wasn't bad actually. That would have been a personal best for Harry. Already achieved the 5:35, which is a significant return to form for him. Just looking at the side, I know his coach John will probably be here, just getting information. Really vital for the field eventers to be able to, have that communication with their support team, coach, or if coach can't make it, it might be a parent or someone who knows them. Just asking them, how was the speed on the runway? How was the plant? What do I need to do? A little bit to the left, a little bit to the right. All sorts of technicalities that we can't even begin to imagine.
You just catch out the corner of the back of the shot there behind Luke Cutts. Some of the high jumpers just starting to pace out their run-ups and get in shape. Morgan Lake excited to see her in action. The likes of Bethan Partridge as well to provide the competition for her. As we bottom left watch the first two in the walk, Bosworth and Callum Wilkinson. It is Chris Snook, by the way, who's currently in 4th position behind Corbishley. As we see them come round with the small matter of 23 laps still remain there. They go through the back of the shot as Luke Cutts assesses his second attempt at 5:45. Adam Haig we've seen go clear first time. So there are 4 athletes still left in the competition. Haig, Cutts, Myers and Koppel.
We did talk on air yesterday about how hot it is in the arena, and I am just fascinated with Luke Cutts having full tights on in these conditions, but he's keeping his body nice and warm, obviously.
Yeah, it's certainly warm in here again today. It's we were saying this to a lot of the athletes though, between jumps they are going back and putting tracksuit tops on, and KJT yesterday was putting a jacket on over her long sleeve t-shirt as well, so potentially down at track level we're high up here in the right at the back of the arena, but it may not be quite as bad. As we see Cutts take on 5:45 for the second time, and he wasn't close to that. He struck that on the way up, didn't he? So he's got one more attempt.
It's interesting to watch all the different techniques actually. Harry Koppel has got longer stride, looks very powerful. Luke Cutts, lots of leg speed actually.
So he'll have one more attempt in a moment. He's got a couple more jumpers to go with their second attempts. First of all, Myers and Koppel. There is Charlie Myers from the Middlesbrough Mandale Club, clubmate of Richard Kilty, who, for reasons that haven't yet still become clear, didn't show for the final of the men's 60 yesterday. He was a DNS.
Yeah, I'm sure Richard would have been disappointed as anyone. We know what his championship form is like, so yeah, we just hope that he's not injured. Well, here we see that Callum Wilkinson was just shown the yellow card. We can presume that's for maybe lifting. Such a difficult sport. So, you know, the speed these guys are actually travelling at. You know, if you've ever run a 5K or a park run, if you know what sort of time you can get for that distance, Tom Bosworth can walk 5K in 18 minutes 39.
Well, he took on the park run, didn't he, in Cannon Hill Park here in Birmingham last week, where there were some free tickets up for grabs for local athletes to take on as well. So that was great. I've seen him take part in events like the Great South 5K down on the south coast, where anyone who beat him he was walking it, and anyone who beat him, I think, was given a special prize. But as we see on the runway, we've got some high jumpers just a bit close to Charlie Myers behind him. One of the officials going to tick them off. And we see Myers' second attempt coming up at 5:45. Of course, you talk about disqualifications and warnings for lifting and things. No one knows more than Tom Bosworth, of course, after his heartbreaking London 2017 disqualification on the Mall, albeit still with 7 kilometres to go.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I heard from the training camp that Tom was in fantastic shape as well. So hopefully lesson learned, and he'll never have to worry about that again.
Charlie Myers, 5:45, second attempt, no sir. And worryingly, that looks like a hamstring for Charlie Myers.
Yeah, it doesn't look good, does it? He still does have one attempt left, but he aborted that. Something wasn't right. He didn't put his full momentum behind that. Once he actually did plant, he aborted that pretty soon. Such a shame for him, coming into the competition with that red UK lead vest. Really nice actually that we can see Adam Haid, just going to check to him. And Luke, what is it? Is there anything that we can do? They get so, good pals in this event. I think everyone has total respect for each other. But yeah, that does not load well for Myers with one attempt left.
Well, the medical team quick on site there as we see Bosworth just open that gap up on Callum Wilkinson. I tell you what, it's not easy walking when you've done your hamstring, but trying to get off a pole vault bed when you haven't got a hamstring working properly looked a bit difficult as well.
It did, didn't it?
That's not the way you want to be.
But here we see, Tom Bosworth outstretching now. Callum Wilkinson tried to hang on to his coattails for quite a few laps. A developing athlete is Callum. He's the World Junior 10,000 metre walk champion back in 2 years ago now in 2016, breaking junior records right, left and centre. Tom Bosworth keeps saying he is the man for Tom to worry about in years to come. They've been training together recently on the British Athletics Endurance Camp out in Potchefstroom, a venue that I know really, really well in South Africa. Amazing at that time of the year to be able to have some sun on your back, to get some fast sessions in, and it's no fun in the British cold with the rain bouncing down. So great that Callum has been able to take part in that training camp, learn from the experiences and the in-depth knowledge that Tom now has in the event, and he's doing fantastic. Here we go, we're back now on the pole vault runway, and oh gosh, my heart was in my mouth then. I thought Harry Koppel had achieved that 5 metres 45 for him. That was his third and final attempt.
That was his second.
Right? That was his second. Okay.
There was a real satellite delay there as that bar didn't come down to the shot.
It was. We were waiting for that, but I think that was pretty close. And he's laughing, and you just see their fist pump. There's his coach John and his mum as well watching him. He knew how close he was to getting that, a little bit of information. Yeah, she is. That'll be uploaded in no time.
Yeah,
always getting an action replay before we are.
Yeah, this is the technical. These days, you see this quite often now of athletes actually looking back very quickly at the instant analysis. See the coach showing them what they're doing wrong. As we see Cameron Corbishley just go through the shot there, who's currently racing in third position. Again, I'm just standing up to bring you the perspective in terms of the British medals in this walk situation. Now, Tom Bosworth is just about to lap Cameron Corbishley. Which means he'll have lapped everybody except Callum Wilkinson, who is currently about 30 or 40 metres behind. But Corbishley is in third, so that is Bosworth in first, lapping Corbishley in third in the bottom left of your screen.
And still 15 laps to go in this event, so this is after 10 laps. This shows the calibre of this athlete that we're talking about here. Tom Bosworth has come through the stages, and we saw him start at the beginning of the race. We saw him start his watch. Obviously he has the clock that he can see as he approaches every 200 metre circuit here, but he'll have his clock to clock his various kilometre splits. He'll know, just like a track athlete knows, what pace to go, if his laps are dropping off, etc. And just absolutely fantastic to see an athlete of his calibre taking part in the British Championships.
Christopher Snook has just lapped his brother Timothy Snook. Chris Snook is currently in 4th position, and he is about 50 metres at least behind the 3rd place athlete. Luke Cutts, last attempt at 5:45 in the pole vault. Out.
That is a
Cutts.
shock. Luke Cutts, it is. I'm just looking down on my records here. No, he has opened this year with 5 metres 41. So today he's done 5:20, his first bar that he attempted, first attempt. He passed at 5:35, so we can only presume that he was feeling very, very confident. 5:45 wouldn't have been a problem. But unfortunately, 3 failures at that bar for him, and he's going to finish out with the medals in 4th position.
That means we're going to have a new champion for the first time in 5 years, because Luke Cutts has won the last 4 titles here in 14, 15, 16 and 17. He also won the last 2 years outdoors as well. So Luke Cutts' day is over, and it looks like Charlie Myers' day is over as well after 2 failures at 5:45 and that hamstring iced up.
Yeah, at the moment we can see Myers and Coppell sharing the silver medal if all stays the same. Myers, there'll be no jump offs for the silver and the bronze medals. You know, Myers' day is finished. Really nice that he thanked the officials. They work incredibly hard throughout this 2-day event. Harder than the athletes, I do have to say that from an athlete's perspective. It's pretty easy for an athlete just to concentrate on what you're doing. These are long days.
So 2 athletes left in action in the competition. Adam Haig, who is yet to fail. He's gone through 5:20, 5:35 and 5:45 already, first time. And Harry Coppell, currently, as you say, sharing the silver medal position with Charlie Myers for Wigan. We were just talking about the changing weather conditions and the wet and cold. Harry Coppell of Wigan seems to be coping with the Wigan weather all right.
He does. We're very fortunate, actually. We have an indoor track in Wigan. So, yeah, Harry gets plenty of practice to vault throughout the winter.
This then to take the outright 2nd place, and of course to carry him through to the next height as well of 5:55 and to stay in contention. Wigan's Harry Coppell, commentated on by Chief Wigan cheerleader Jenny Meadows.
Yeah, Harry looks pumped for this one, doesn't he? Just said a few words reminiscent of Isinbayeva back in the day, and you know, he's really travelling well down the run-up. Plants that pole. Oh, not as good attempt as his second one, but you know, he is going away with at least a silver medal from today. In fact, yes, guaranteed, yeah.
Yep.
He'll be showing that silver medal with Myers. So we have the champion in on our screenshot. Here we go. Haig, this will be his first indoor title.
It certainly will. Last year he claimed the Bucks title and the Northern title. He's already won the Northern title this year as well. As a little high five between Harry Coppell and the winner Adam Haig, who, as we say, only 20 years of age, the UK junior record holder, still at 5 metres and 60, which is his lifetime best. And the Sheffield athlete, who's of course had the benefit of home soil, if you like, in the last couple of years in competing in the EIS. The change to Birmingham away from his home track seems to have done him the favour.
Yeah, he's got a clear record at the moment, hasn't he? First attempt at 5:20, 5:35 and 5:45. The bar should be set at 5:55 next, but of course Adam Haig has the choice. What does he want the bar to be raised to? Does he want it to be raised maybe to 5:60 to maybe attempt to get closer to the 5:78? Let's see what he decides to do.
So just to contextualise Tom Bosworth's performance, by the way, as we see one of the athletes step off there on the inside track. We've just lost Guy Thomas from Tunbridge, who has just dropped out. 11 minutes and 52 seconds for Tom Bosworth with 9 laps to go, so just under 2k remaining. His personal best, for context, is 18 minutes 39, so 6.5 minutes or so for him. We saw Bethan Davis set a big PB in the women's 5k race walk. And Tom Bosworth, who now has a big gap on Callum Wilkinson, and I would say that gap is now 100 metres. Back to Wilkinson in second, just keeping an eye on the minor placings behind that. And Corbishley is still in third, and the gap to Chris Snook, who is racing in fourth, is probably 100 metres as well. So I think the middle position to decide it. That's Timothy Snook just being lapped. I've lost count of how many times Bosworth's been past Timothy Snook. You
know, I'm just trying to really look at Tom's face, and he does look like he's working really hard. I don't think he's just come here to lift the British title today. I think this is not only a demonstration, but it's a real test to see what he can do. You know, he's been training really hard, like I say, in Potchefstroom in South Africa, and very reminiscent performance of Laura Muir, actually. You know, we see Laura every time she competes. She comes to a competition and she knows what she wants to get out of this. She comes, she tests herself. I spoke yesterday, I knew that at some point she would have a distance in her head when she decided, you know, this is where I'm going to attack it from. Yesterday it was 600 metres, and you know, I'm sure Tom came with a similar tactic. He started off straight from the gun, you know, he started his watch, he knew what he wanted to achieve, and yeah, you know, I could see his face when we focused on it just a lap or so ago. He looks like he's really working hard for this, is here for a performance.
Worth pointing out, of course, that a race walk is not a World Indoors event, so Tom Bosworth, this is his moment, if you like, in terms of in front of his home crowd here. Race walking at not an IAAF World Indoor event, but we'll see lots more of Tom Bosworth outdoors, of course, later on in the year at the Grand Prix events as well. Full details of all of those, of course, available on the British Athletics website. We're live here from Arena Birmingham on day 2 of the SPA British Athletics Indoor Championships with myself, Chris Temple, and the multi-global medalist Jenny Meadows back with us today here on commentary. We're here till about 5 o'clock this afternoon. Been a big focus on the field events in this first couple of hours, but there are so many great finals to come. We have the semi-finals of the 200 metres, which aren't too far away, and then we have a raft of finals later on, the 400s, the 800s, the 1500s. Jenny, it's a thrilling climax to come.
It's definitely going to be one event after another, and a lot of the medals, there's a lot of medals to be up for grabs, and a lot of people that were, you know, we've seen throughout the 2 days so far, so many PBs and season's best. We've almost had to rip up the form book on quite a lot of the events, and you know, it's great to see so many teenagers here competing at this event and making their mark.
Half an hour or so, by the way, until we see Morgan Lake in the women's high jump. We should mention that as well. Saw the athletes warming up. That's due to get underway about 20 to 3. Adam Haigh then, who is the champion for the first time here at the British Indoors. He is revving up the crowd for his first time attempt at 5:55, which would be just 5 centimetres outside his overall lifetime best, but his indoor best is 5:50, so this would be a new best indoors. Oh, he's got it! He has got it! It's a new indoor best for the new champion, Adam Haigh, got 5:55.
He can put no foot wrong at the moment. There was daylight between him and the bar. I've said this at every attempt he's had. Wow! He's ready to step up in class, certainly. Fantastic that he's claimed his first indoor British title after Luke Cutts has been so dominant. And look at Luke there, you know, having a word with him. You know, he's probably given him a few tips. But like I say, you know, you can just tell from an athlete's body language. He looks confident, you know, 5:55, first time attempt as well,
yeah.
And just 5 centimetres away from his outdoor personal best. So we presume the bar will be raised another 10 centimetres. It seems to be going in that sequence to 5:65, which is probably, you know, I think he's probably only attempted that maybe once in his life. Definitely when he's done his 5:60, he would have probably attempted 65 after it. So yeah, new experience coming up for young Adam Haigh. Yeah,
new heights for the Sheffield pole vaulting scene, of course. Clubmate of Luke Cutts. Luke Cutts at 30, Adam Haigh at 20, so different generations as we pick up the closing stages of Tom Bosworth, who is into the final 3 laps. His personal best, remember, and the national record both stand at 18 minutes 39.47 as he waves the crowd down the back straight. He'll come around with 400 metres to go very shortly indeed, and we'll confirm the medal positions behind him. But as it has been pretty much since the start, Callum Wilkinson has been racing in silver, and Cameron Corbishley the bronze, as the showman Bosworth does his thing.
Absolutely. I love his celebration normally at the finish, and this is going to be a very, very great performance. You know, he's 17 minutes flat almost with 400 metres to go.
So the crowd enthused by Bosworth's performance here. We saw a fantastic performance from Bethan Davis a short while ago in the women's walk to set herself a new lifetime best and a new national record, because it was the first time that 5K had been the competitive distance. Of course, this one has been competed before, but Bosworth looking to break his own mark, and he's going to come round with probably about 50 seconds or so to complete the final lap. 18:39.47 is his own national record.
If you actually watch the sequence of Tom's feet, you can just see the pure speed as he just moves, you know, one foot in front of the other repetitively, and you can see, you know, 18 minutes for the 5K distance. It's quick. I don't train as much as I used to. I would probably be pretty pleased with 18 minutes for a park run at the moment. And to have Tom aside me, you know, almost mocking me, matching me pace for pace, he's a phenomenal athlete.
And the other athletes, you know, as he goes flying past them as well, and they're digging deep. 18:39.47, that national record mark for Tom Bosworth, which he set this time last year. Here he comes into the home straight. He's going to smash it. He's going to knock seconds off it. He's got the best part of 20 or 30 metres to go. Here he comes. He's even been able to enjoy the last lap. He's knocked 10 seconds off the national record. What a performance from Tom Bosworth.
And here we go. This is what we've come to expect from Tom. He plays the crowd, doesn't he? He's found somebody in the crowd, somebody who he knows, and bring the check out again. Let's get the big check out. We're about to see it again. So
from one champion to another, Bosworth to Haig, who stands on the runway at 5:65 is where the bar stands, which would be a new indoor or out lifetime best. He's never gone over 5:60. Here he comes now with the championship already in his back pocket. Up goes Haig. Oh, wow-wee! Wow!
Sometimes in your career, you just have a purple patch. He can't believe it. Sometimes everything just goes right for you. I'm sure if someone would have told Adam at the beginning of the day, his sequence will be clearance 5:20, clearance first time 5:35, 45, 55, 65, and he's not ended. The bar will be raised again, and there was again, you know, daylight between himself and the bar.
He wasn't even close to grazing that, was he? And you're right, the look of disbelief, positive disbelief on his face there. There's a smiley face on the scoreboard you can see there, which is the signal for a clearance, but it was an even bigger smile than that electronic one we saw on the scoreboard there.
He was.
Hugs and high fives all round for his competitors down there and some of the officials as well.
Camaraderie is so important in a lot of field events. We always say it about the multi-eventers, but these guys respect each other. They have to train hard. They're physical specimens, what they need to do in the gym, how fast they have to be, how they have to get the technicalities together. And this is a young athlete. You know, we've been talking again over the course of the weekend about, you know, these wild cards almost, these IAAF invites. If Adam doesn't improve on that, you know, that sort of performance, 5:65, to be in a competition where the bar is getting raised and to be inspired by other young people and, you know, great athletes in the world, surely he's one that warrants that selection, you know, discretionary place.
Well, he's off to the Commonwealth Games, of course, either way on the Gold Coast representing England, where Luke Cutts took a silver medal last time. He's off to the Commonwealths as well. But on this performance, you've got to say Adam Haig has thrown himself into the Commonwealth medal shake-up as well. He's got a 5:70 next. Taking some advice from his supporters and coaching staff in the stand. I'm just glancing down towards the track in the closing stages of the men's walk, by the way, where Cameron Corbishley has just finished. Just keeping an eye on the scrolling scoreboard, because I'd say I lost sight of Callum Wilkinson, who was racing in second place. And he hasn't come up on our computer as finishing second. By the way, that mark from Tom Bosworth, 18:28.7, that's not only a national record, that is a world indoor record showing on our computer for 5K. So that's how good a performance that was.
And that he could actually, you know, do signals to the crowd and enjoy it as well. I think one of the things I like about Tom is he does enjoy it. I've always tried to tell a lot of young athletes you have to enjoy the journey as well. Trust the process and enjoy the journey. And he's so charismatic. He definitely is the showman of our sport, and fantastic performance, world-class performance there today from Tom.
So Cameron Corbishley, by the way, has come through on our computer as second in that